keeps on leaving and we keep on moving. When do we pass on our wisdom to the youth? My veteran story, lost arts discussions, fireside chats with a bourbon or two. It's time to hear the stories by our military veterans. Get yourself ready, it's the Lost Arts Podcast. The Lost Arts with Andrew Cox. Hello, my friends, and welcome back to the Lost Art Podcast, that podcast giving a voice to our veterans. On today's episode, we have Marine veteran, Sergeant Major retired Brett Scheuer. So it's going to be a great episode. I can't wait to hear his story. But before we get into that, if you're enjoying the podcast, be sure to go to the website, thelostart.podbean.com, click on that merchandise tab, and help support what we got going on here, get our veteran voices out for all to hear. All right, with that, I got Brett. Brett, how you doing today?
Great. How are we doing?
Oh, I'm doing fantastic. Excited that you're on here. Excited to hear your story.
Excited to be invited on. Looking forward to it.
Yeah. Well, hey, let's go ahead and jump into it. Let's start at the beginning, like where you grew up, and then what drew you to military service.
Yeah, so I'm a native of Buffalo, New York, suburbs. Grew up, in the age of no social media, no computers, the good old days. Good Buffalo snow. You go out there with your snow shovel and go make a good buck on a good winter's day. Yeah, Buffalo hard, blue collar, town. Grew up playing all the sports you can imagine. I was a wrestler in high school. My family owns some restaurants in the local area, so I grew up working for the family business, and after high school, decided to give college a try. Went to one of local community colleges and did that for about a semester. Wasn't really my gig. So figured I was ready to do something different, see the world. I kind of joined on a whim. A couple of my buddies were in the delayed entry program. They were, pushing me kind of towards the Marine Corps. Of course, I went and talked to all the recruiters. I would say the Army and the Navy. It was close. I almost joined the Navy, but my two good friends, one's the local chief of police for one of the municipalities here. They were again in the delayed entry program for almost a year, where I kind of got sucked in by kind of their influence on the Marine Corps. Went and talked to the recruiter, and I was shipping in about 60 days.
Oh, wow, that's pretty quick.
Yeah. And
and what year was that you came in?
It was January of 88.
88. Okay.
Yeah. I came in open contract too, because the fast shippers, there was nothing to jump on at the time, and basically just took my chances with open contract, which no regrets. I mean, some regrets, but no regrets overall.
Okay. Okay. So you leave New York, go to Parris Island, I'm assuming, for boot camp.
Yeah.
How was Parris Island for you?
Parris Island was, I mean, when looking back on it now, you're young 19-year-old, naive, not knowing what's what. And, the whole mystique of Parris Island, only one way on, one way off, shark infested waters, all that stuff. But, I was, laying low, kept to myself, quiet, like everybody tells you to do, just, don't volunteer for nothing and just do what you got to do. So that was kind of, I wasn't, overboard, wasn't, guide or squad leader, just kind of, just wanted to get through.
Yeah, I understand that's how I was too. I just want to get through it. If I can make it through it, I'm good. So it worked out well we made it. So it's a good
Yeah.
deal.
Yeah.
And then you came in open contract, and what was the contract that you ended up getting? Like what MLS?
I ended up getting the engineer field.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, yeah. So we went back and forth. Originally, it was an electrician, and then it got changed to water purification.
Oh wow.
Yeah, which was something kind of was didn't know anything about. I was like, what the heck is this? And
Yeah.
but all the engineer fields kind of combined, utilities in general, which is, refrigeration
Oh, really?
mechanics, electricians, generator mechanics, and then the water purification folks is kind of one combined field with the utilities field. And then, a lot of the platoons and companies were HEUT, which is heavy equipment utilities. And then you obviously have the combat engineers, which are kind of separate from the HEUT, kind of like CBs,
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
yeah, yeah.
Cool. And I imagine. Now, where did you go to the school for water purification?
Went to school at Courthouse Bay,
Okay.
Camp Lejeune.
Nice.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. 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 And how was that? Was that a long school, short school? Like what
No,
was
it was,
it
it was
called?
it was 3 months, and obviously back when
Oh
I
wow.
came in, yeah, there was no MCT or anything like that. So right after boot camp, got some boot leave and straight to MOS school. So
Yeah.
so that was end of April of '88. So I just missed the Camp Lejeune, uh,
The
craziness. You get
water.
all the commercial stuff you see, but
Yeah. The crazy water at the time.
yeah,
Uh,
yeah.
okay, so you finished your school there, and you water purification. Where did you go? Your first duty station.
First duty station was Iwakuni, Japan.
Nice.
Yeah, 1 year on a company tour because I got married on boot leave. So
Oh, okay.
doing my time at the time, my high school sweetheart there. So and then so on a company tour to Iwakuni, Japan, and then during that tour, they had Team Spirit back then, so I got sent relatively quick over to Yecheon, Korea. So I was in Korea for probably a good 3, 4 months of
Oh, wow.
that 1 year tour. Yeah.
Wow, that's really cool. And were you doing water purification while you were there?
I was doing as a new, PFC Lance Corporal, I was doing guard duty.
Yeah.
I was doing a host of different things. No mess duty, but some guard duty over there. But yeah, I was in HEUT platoon, and we were doing basic, you know, expeditionary airfield engineering stuff.
Yeah.
Then with MWSS 171 over there.
Oh, I see. Okay.
Yeah,
So it was with the Air Wing, and you were supporting them in their operations and stuff.
yeah, yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
Fixed wing.
Okay. Yeah.
Mhm.
Very, very nice. All right. And what were some of the memories that you had about being in Iwakuni? Like, what the good, the bad, like anything in there that you remember?
Yeah, being a young buck, I mean, in that point in time, I had the passion for travel. I was kind of always that way, even in high school and stuff. Just free spirited and just want to be out and about. So I think going to Tokyo and Hiroshima was definitely a highlight, just going to see, what took place there, the history, the museum there in Hiroshima with, World War II significance there with the H bomb and stuff. But, and just really just a different culture, um, and kind of soaking all that in. Um, and,
How old were
and
you?
then of course, being a young buck and back then the drinking age was only 19. So you could, get
Partake a little bit.
get your drink on a little bit.
Yeah. Without worrying about getting in trouble. Well,
With
at least for underage drinking. Yeah.
yeah, yeah, yeah.
Absolutely. Uh, excuse me, when you went to the Hiroshima and all that type of stuff, did you see the shadows on the wall and all those types of things?
Yeah,
I
yeah,
never
yeah,
got the opportunity to go, but I've always been told about it.
yeah. The shadow on the sidewalk. Yeah. In the museum, it's pretty, from what I can remember, it's been so many years now, but pretty surreal and just neat, to just be there and be in a place that has such, historical significance for mankind and for history. It was, um, but there,
Yeah,
there's some other places as well. And Iwakuni is in a pretty neat, location there.
yeah. And did you get an opportunity to visit some of the other countries around, or was it mainly
No,
right there?
no, not during that tour. Yeah, again, being a young buck, and again, team spirit was the big thing in Korea at the time. So, you know, which was a whole other experience in itself. So, um, going
Yeah.
over to
Oh
Korea
yeah.
and experiencing Korea in the cold, and got to go. And I think during that time period, because the Olympics were going on, like,
Oh wow.
right, um, and I remember, yeah, the Olympics were a hot topic at the time. And I didn't get to go see any of the Olympic events or anything, but did get to Seoul. Osan was another big place with all the shops and, but yeah.
Yeah. Wow. All right. So you spend 1 year unaccompanied. Your wife is back home. And then where did you end up going next?
Yeah, got orders to Camp Lejeune, um,
Nice.
to 8th Engineer Support Battalion and in French Creek.
Yeah.
And was there, from, let's see, August of 89 to 93. So was in the engineer platoon there, and then was in the support company, and then deployed to Operation Desert Storm, Desert Shield.
Yeah. Okay. Um, so now
Just
you
just
did
got just
work up.
got my new Desert Shore Storm coin in the mail from the
Nice.
new memorial that they have there, because I'm a
Yeah.
member of the new memorial they have there in DC. So, but yeah,
Oh, that's
so
really cool.
Camp Lejeune, yeah.
Okay. So now when you deployed, can you tell us a little bit about working up to that, and then some of your deployment as well?
Yeah, there really wasn't much workups for that deployment. Everything's happened so fast. I remember
Yeah.
half the company was gone in the blink of an eye. They all embarked on naval vessels on ship in August, and then the rest of us that were going flying over, and we're on land, pushed up. I think I got there early to mid-November. So we're a
Okay.
few months behind the other bunch. So kind of, the battalion company split up, half were on ship and then half us on land. But again, being a young 20, 21-year-old, just not knowing what's what, just
Yeah.
going with the flow. But it was again all kind of a blur, just all happened so
Yeah.
quick from just the events that took place and just us being over there, and and obviously the war being so quick, you know.
Yeah. 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 And what were some of the things that you did while you were there? I'm assuming you were like on attached to a unit outside of the
Yeah,
your
I
base.
was kind of unique. I was all over the place. Me and a couple other Marines from the company, we were deaded out to some different locations and different spots. We were with a reserve unit out of Oregon for a while, and then we're at a location called Port Al Mashab, which was the largest water purification water point for really for Marine forces, but that was the first time at that location where we took um, some enemy fire, frog missiles and artillery, and yeah, yeah. So
First time. hearing enemy rounds coming at you and those types of things.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. First
Not a
time
very
being shot at. Yeah,
yeah, very fairly early in your career, within the first couple of years type of thing. So that's very unique. It doesn't happen to everybody. It took me a long time before I saw anything. So not everybody gets it right away.
yeah. Well, I mean, yeah, just it was what it was.
Yeah,
But again, not knowing what we know in the future with obviously Iraq and Afghanistan and
yeah,
Operation Enduring Freedom and all that stuff. That was there was a generational thing. Those of
yeah,
us that really, you look back, it really wasn't a huge war. I mean, it was small conflict, but but yet some historical significance and stuff. And you know, yeah, so three war veteran with Desert Storm, Desert Shield, Iraq and Afghanistan.
that's pretty incredible.
Yeah, and then came home in April, and you know, it was a very patriotic time. I remember the parades, and we did a parade at Camp Lejeune. It was yeah, it was
That like all the famous pictures that you see, it's like the ticker tape parades and stuff. Was it like
right.
that?
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, yeah. Different, yeah, different times, different time in the country too. And I guess one other big thing I can recollect, I was telling the story, big Buffalo Bills fan, die hard. I have season tickets now.
Nice.
Families had season tickets for a long time, and those were our glory years there for a while with the four Super Bowls, and
Yeah.
I can remember sitting in the a bunker, and we had the radio, and we were listening to the Super Bowl on the radio at the
Oh,
time.
no kidding.
It was yeah, kind of it was pretty shitty. Our first Super Bowl, and I'm stuck over in the sandbox,
Yeah.
but
Well, it's memorable. That's for sure.
oh yeah, yeah, yeah.
All right. So now you spent so what time frame was it when you came back from there?
That was April of 91.
And you stayed there at that unit until you said what 94?
It was when did I leave there? It would have been, yeah, I guess April of 93. I left and I got orders to Okinawa.
Okay. And
Yeah,
now was this going to be a company tour to Okinawa?
unaccompanied
A
tour.
company.
Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah,
two unaccompanied tours.
yeah, in a short period of time. So yeah,
Yeah.
Iwakuni and Desert Storm, Desert Shield, then Okinawa. Um, and during the tour in Camp Lejeune, my first daughter was born.
Okay.
And then my son, my oldest son, my second child was born while I was in Okinawa. So
Oh, no kidding.
yeah,
Wow.
she missed his
Now,
birth.
were you able to fly back for the orders or anything? Or did you have to wait until
I
after?
did. I got some leave halfway, a couple weeks after he was born. But yeah, I
So,
think I took one of recruiter's assistants for a month before I headed to Okinawa, and then
yeah, that's a good deal for Marines. That recruiter assistance that helps them out tremendously,
yeah,
especially being
yeah,
young. They don't have a lot of leave saved up, those types of things. So it's definitely a good deal for them.
yeah, neat experience. I mean, it's what pushed me to go to the drill field and not recruiting duty. So
Yeah, I understand that.
wasn't for that, if it wasn't for that little, nothing, or nothing against the recruiters, but
It's a different
wasn't my
world.
thing. Yeah, yeah.
Oh man. Okay, so what rank were you at this point? You going to Okinawa?
I was a corporal going to Okinawa, and got to Okinawa, Ninth Engineer Support Battalion, and they actually, when I checked in, they threw me in the S3, so I was in the three shop, training NCO for the battalion, and I did that the whole time I was there, so I really didn't,
Wow.
yeah, the whole year I stayed in the three shop, coordinating rifle ranges and
Yeah.
training and all that stuff for the battalion. So that was a little bit of a different experience, doing that stuff. So it was definitely a good experience. learn how
Oh
the
yeah,
food
for
shop
sure.
operates and all the, particulars with that.
Yeah, I mean that's a great opportunity to be able to see kind of the workings and the behind the scenes actions of all the stuff that happens within the time. So very unique experience.
Yeah, yeah. And again, up, a little different from you, Cooney. So up there, Camp Hansen, Camp Schwab area.
Yeah,
You know, got my scuba license, started doing some, or scuba cert, and did some scuba diving. First experience with all that stuff. I mean, obviously, one of the best spots in the world to,
yeah.
one of the many to do some scuba diving. So
That place amazed me.
yeah.
Like it was pretty on land. Don't get me wrong, but the second you put your face under the water, it was a whole new ball game for me. I mean, it was absolutely beautiful. And some of
Yeah.
the fish that you see, like the lionfish, I mean, it's like you could reach out and touch them. Don't do that. I,
Oh
they
yeah. Saw some
definitely,
sharks, some sea turtles. It was yeah, it was definitely an experience.
yeah, for sure. Yeah.
I think I didn't know another highlight of
And then,
that year over there was going to Mount Fuji. So we went to Camp Fuji for an exercise. It was during the middle, I think it was the summer, it was July time frame. Um, got to climb Mount Fuji, get the Fuji stick. Yeah, and that was probably a highlight of that tour, was just getting to, you know, because even when I was in Cancun, I didn't get to Mount Fuji, so it was definitely, to experience and see Camp Fuji and climb Mount Fuji was, yeah, definitely. I got a piece of lava rock over there on the shelf from Mount Fuji there.
I find that kind of funny because almost everywhere that we go as Marines, we can take something very small and have very significant things. Like you got the rock. I got to go to Iwo Jima. I got the sand from Iwo Jima.
Mhm.
Just about everywhere.
Yeah,
I got water from France and the
Devil
Devil Dog
Dog Fountain. Yeah, I've got
Fountain.
I've got mine there. I've got sand from Normandy.
Yeah,
And
it's
a
pretty
host
fun.
of other things. Water from the Jordan River.
Oh wow.
Yeah, I mean, as we get further down the crazy career and
Yeah, absolutely.
deployments. Yeah.
Well, let's keep going then. Okay, so you spent a year unaccompanied. Your son was born while you were over there, and then how was that homecoming for you as you come back from Okinawa?
That's always tough after being gone for a year, and obviously coming back with a new child, and um, my daughter was a year and a half, and then we got orders to El Toro, California. So back to the wing again. So which of course, Miramar and El Toro, those are, I mean, again, things that nobody knows about or remember. I mean, again, some of those old timers. But you know, what a great location. It was just, obviously north of Camp Pendleton, near Laguna Beach, kind of maybe halfway, between LA and San Diego.
Yeah,
Um, and I was a sergeant when I got, so yeah, I was a sergeant when I got there. And then I did a host of different things. Ended up in the three shop again for a little bit. Was in the platoon. Did some, first time as a platoon sergeant. Became a quiz during that time period.
nice.
Yeah. Well, CWSS and McQuist and all that stuff. So really kind of, I look back in that period of time where I kind of, you really enjoyed and started feeling the Marine Corps running through your veins, young, energetic sergeant, um, doing some different types of training, like you say, the McQuist for me, it was, I mean, I carried that on. I kept my McQuist status until I retired as a sergeant major.
Did you
That's
really?
how, yeah, that's how, near and dear to my heart it was. And being a
Yeah,
McQuist from that time on.
that's
Yeah.
wild. I did McQuist when I was a drill instructor. I definitely didn't keep up on all my certs and all that stuff. once I left, I just got too busy and I didn't have time to do it. So it's like I can't keep everything up.
Yeah, well, and I was a CWSS when I got to DI school, and I had to go through a quiz at DI school as well. So,
Yeah.
but
Oh, you had to do it twice then.
yeah, yeah.
Oh,
And then ended up becoming an IT later on down the road as well. So,
yeah, yeah,
but
yeah.
so yeah, so out in California for again 4 years. Got there in May of '94 from Okinawa. We did a long. I mean, we drove across country. Did he move? His family was in Buffalo, New York, so we hightailed it and did the long drive. Made it vacation out of it type thing. Kind of like what you're doing. I mean, we saw you know
That's right.
a lot of
Yeah,
the
and that's
country.
that. Now, did you go across the northern part, or did you go
No,
south and then
yeah, the
across?
northern part through Denver,
Yeah,
Iowa,
yeah,
Nebraska, Utah, and then several other trips across, as well during that tour. Did I think, you know, the one across the middle, made the 40, and then the 10.
yeah,
I've done, yeah, all three routes. So that, again, looking at that tour out there, the opportunity to see more of the country just by the virtue of being stationed out there and being from the East Coast. So
yeah. Absolutely, that's really good. Um, Now, what were some of the highlights that from being in El Toro that you can remember? I mean, obviously a
now,
very unique place. So
yeah, looking back on it now, I mean, some of the, the Liberty, just being in, going to Venice Beach, and I mean, there was just, I just, there really wasn't a lot going on operationally, and just kind of a lull in things at that point in time. I think the Marine Corps were kind of trying to, figure things out after Desert Storm, Desert Shield. So it was kind of in that in between place, going into OAF, OEF. But it was more about, like I say, just being, being out on the West Coast, going to Vegas and doing some traveling up and down the coast and just kind of experiencing the lifestyle out there, so to speak. And being young and again, still a little naive and stuff like that. But you know, uh,
nothing wrong with that.
but no, no, but it was a great location. Near the beaches. And I was a big volleyball player too. Going back years and still play, and my whole family's involved in volleyball and stuff like that. And, my niece got a scholarship. My dad coached high school,
Oh wow.
and both my daughters played. So, and I played quite a bit beach volleyball back, during that tour as well. I always found
Yeah.
volleyball wherever I was at.
So I've got to
Station.
ask the question. So you're with the Air Wing, and they're at El Toro. So I imagine when you played volleyball, it was much like the scenes from Top Gun.
Yeah, sometimes. Yeah,
Yeah.
sometimes it was, especially at that age too. I was in my late 20s. So yeah, it was neat. But going back, later in my career, I went back there after El Toro and Tustin were closed down. I mean, it's just, yeah,
Yeah.
just desolate, weird. The base housing there, everything's gone. It's just, but and I mean,
Yeah. They,
a lot of time down at Camp Pendleton too. We obviously we're doing exercises, 29 Palms too. We do CAX every year.
yeah.
So I think, 3 back-to-back years out of CAX and
Nice.
Colonel Blitz, I think, was the exercise out there at Camp Pendleton, big amphibious operation or exercise that went on every year. So yeah, and
Wow.
then orders to the drill field. I mean, I tried multiple times to my monitor to get to the drill field and kept getting denied and got denied, I think twice before finally clicking and getting the orders. So I actually got orders to San Diego, and I had to call the monitor and requested specifically to get back to the East Coast and to
Yeah.
Paragon.
And they actually gave you Paris Island.
They did, yeah, yeah,
Okay, very nice. That's
yeah.
not everybody requests to go to Paris Island.
No, and
That's pretty
I was already on the West Coast, so it
yeah,
was just an easy move. And I didn't think it was going to happen, probably because of funding and the cost to move and all that stuff. But yeah, so I ended up getting the orders to PI.
all right. Well, talk to me about going to Paris Island, going back to Paris Island, going there to be a drill instructor. You show up, you got drill instructor school. How was drill instructor school for you? And tell us a little bit about that.
Yeah, I mean, good thing is I had some great mentors at El Toro that, prior hats kind of mentored me and prepared me and, just make sure your uniforms are squared away, make sure you get your running in, you're physically, fit, all that stuff. It was more, I think, the mental being ready for the IEs and stuff like that and the academics. But physically, I mean, I was, again, I think all of us at that age, I think most
Yeah,
of us were physically ready, but not
yeah,
so much mentally. But obviously some nerves,
mhm,
it's going back to boot camp again. But again, that's you started to again. I go back to this, the Marine Corps starting to run through your veins, and you're just at a point in your career. It's late 20s, early 30s, where you're just for me, I just was loving everything I was doing, loving the Marine Corps, the sense of purpose,
yeah,
just what it meant to be a drill instructor and be one of the elite down there. To as long as you get through DI school, make it, and really the gratification of making Marines.
yeah,
You
for
know,
sure. And then and now, once you actually got into the training companies, what company were you with?
I was with Fox, fighting
Fatal
Fox,
was Fighting Fox, right? And
fighting Fox.
yeah, we changed it, or I did. Somebody changed it on the West Coast to Fatal Fox. That's I don't know why it went to Fatal, but that's what they did. So
Fatal
Fatal
Fox.
Fox for me.
Yep, fighting Fox. So yeah, I mean, probably one of the highlights of my career. Just it's all about timing and the leadership that's there. It's a cyclic thing, and just the atmospherics that are going on in the recruit depot at the different times. And during that time I was there, it was just just great leadership. I mean, friends that I still stay in touch with, and the hats. It was just it didn't get any better. We all took care of each other. Leadership took care of us. Um, so and just all the ins and outs of being a new hat and moving up the totem pole and all that stuff. And I was always eager and ready to when I was a third hat, I was already studying and doing the extra stuff and reading the heavies, um, turnover binder and making sure I'm ready for the next move up and stuff like that. So I'm trying to think how many platoons I did. Because I went to the pool on quota because obviously I was one of the first. Um, so, yeah, so I was 4 dash. So yeah, so that was the first year of the 3 year hats.
Oh wow, okay,
Right. So I was transitioning right from the 2 year hats to the 3 year hats. So
got it.
kind of went through that whole thing and ways the 3 year hats were being treated from the 2 year hats kind of went, that was a interesting time too.
Interesting.
So right, yeah, that was a significant time with that transition from 2 to 3 year hats.
So what was the I guess the outlook from everybody, like those that were doing 2 years and then those that were doing 3 years, like kind of what was the mental outlook from each of those groups?
Well, we were all there, what goes on down there. We're all, if you were in 2 year hat, you weren't crap, a little bit of uh whatever going on. You're just, if you,
Yeah.
you wanted to, you weren't allowed to be in the DI hut. You had to be out in the boys. It was just, a little bit of craziness, but I always took it all with a grain of salt. Whatever, bring it on, bring it on.
That's funny. Now, at this point, you were still a sergeant, or did you pick up staff sergeant?
I was a sergeant and I picked up staff sergeant shortly after DI school. After DI school, went to um, McQuist school at the pool, did the night thing where you know, McQuist school is all done at night.
Oh, really? Wow.
Yeah,
Okay.
because recruits were trained during the day, so school was at night, which was another, weird change there. But after swim school, graduated swim quite, I think I jumped into my first platoon. They were at the end of second phase, early third phase.
Okay. Very nice. So you did. I'm assuming you went to the swim tank like in your middle year to work.
Yeah, well, no, it was more towards the end. I kind of front loaded a lot of my platoons up front, and then because I came back, I think from the pool, I think I did three platoons as a senior.
Oh, wow. Okay.
Yeah,
And now,
one as a
what are
senior
some?
before I left. Yeah, I was a senior before I left. Yeah.
Oh, okay. I see. What were some of the highlights that you remember on your tour there as a drill instructor?
I took it real serious what we're doing. I know we all do. I mean, it was just, being technically a platoon commander, as a staff sergeant and a responsibility. I never took it lightly and just what we're doing there, making Marines was important. And it's just again the way I was wired back then, and just you know, um, wanting to make and to produce good quality Marines. Obviously, getting just the competitiveness too. I mean, it was just that competitive environment around your peers, the best of the best, and just you know, all the little things from being a new hat to moving up the totem pole to being a senior, and just you go through all that stuff. Just
Overall, you would say being a drill instructor was well worth it, and would you recommend it to anybody else?
oh, absolutely. It's not for everybody. I mean, that's why all the B builds, whether it's MSG or combat instructor, which I know there's no longer, I don't think it's no longer out there, but recruiting and DI, I mean, yeah, right, and again, we had a choice back then. There was no HIS list, or there was none of that. You weren't getting picked. That was all voluntary duty back then. I mean, me and my peers at that point in time, we were volunteering to make ourselves more competitive, um, for promotion and things like that. But so multifaceted. It wasn't just about that, but I mean, to make yourself more competitive, careers obviously moved and stuff like that. But I wanted to go down there, just challenge myself, and really go make Marines.
Absolutely. So did your 3 years there, and at that point, you're a staff sergeant getting ready to leave, and where are they looking at sending you at this point?
So from there, me and the family got 3-year orders to Okinawa.
To all the listeners out there, remember if you're struggling, you're needing some help, anything like that, the VA does have some wonderful opportunities. You can always dial 988, press option 1. You can also text 939-288. I care about you. Brett cares about you. The whole veteran community cares about you. So please reach out for help when you need it. Brett, one last time, thanks for coming on. To all the listeners out there, stay motivated, change your socks.